It's now an all-out war between Justice Katju and the BJP. Justice Katju asking Arun Jaitley to quit politics. Arun Jaitley of the BJP saying Justice Katju does not deserve to hold a quasi-judicial position. Joining us on this program live and exclusive at this time is the Press Council Chairperson, Justice Markandey Katju. To represent the BJP, we've got senior lawyer Meenakshi Lekhi. I want to go across first to Justice Katju. The BJP says you're behaving like a megalomaniac and that your comments are in the form of a thanksgiving for those who've given you your current job. The principal assertion of the BJP Justice Katju against you is that someone who's in a quasi-judicial position shouldn't be making out-and-out political comments. How do you respond to the BJP's charges, Justice Katju?
I have not made political comments. Mr. Arun Jaitley said that I am only criticizing non-Congress governments. This is totally false. I have criticized Congress governments also on many occasions. For instance, I criticized the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, who is of the Congress party. Once I criticized him when there were large-scale physical attacks on journalists in Maharashtra. I strongly criticized him. Then these Facebook girl Shaheen, who had been arrested, I wrote very strong letters to the Chief Minister of Maharashtra that this will not be tolerated, and on my statements, those police officers were suspended. Then, when the Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister said to a media person that he will break his camera, I criticized him, although he was a Congress Chief Minister. I criticized the Delhi government, which is a Congress government, when Iftikhar Jilani was harassed, his family was harassed. I criticized the Delhi government when during the Delhi gang rape agitation, some media persons were assaulted. I strongly criticized that. When Asim Trivedi, that cartoonist, was arrested in Maharashtra, I strongly criticized that. So I've been criticizing both Congress and also non-Congress governments when they do something wrong. Mr. Arun Jaitley has given out as if I've only criticized non-Congress government, and he has called me a megalomaniac. Mr. Rudy has called me a vagabond. Look at the language these people are using. Don't they know some polite language? What kind of people? That is why I've said Mr. Arun Jaitley should leave politics. He's not fit for politics. He should take up sannyas. He will be very happy there.
Meenakshi Lekhi, Justice Katju has just cited, and I have exact dates for when he made these comments against non-BJP chief ministers and leaders as well. Is the BJP not being unfair when it says that he's only targeting the BJP, because clearly past evidence is to the contrary? There's so many instances of Justice Katju targeting non-BJP leaders also. Why are you looking at only one side of the story, Meenakshi?
I'll take point by point. My first point is that when Mr. Katju is holding the post of a Press Council Chairman of India, that is Press Council of India, not of Congress party, and his article reflects as if he's a Congress spokesperson. That's my first point. As a quasi-judicial body, he cannot be sounding as speaking for one political party, and flirtation with politics, especially when you're in a judicial office or a judicial job, is incorrect, inappropriate, and absolutely not behoving of the office you are representing. That's number one. Number two, when he talks about the article which he has written about Mr. Narendra Modi, there are factual inaccuracies in that article. And if that article was written by a journalist, I could have approached the Press Council of India and I would have actually made out a case that please issue censor against this publication, go and issue notices to these people, and he, in the capacity of a press council, which is again a judicial inquiry, could have been instituted against that body. Now, if the press council chairman himself is going to make such inaccurate, inappropriate, unfair statements, where do I go? Who do I speak to?
Justice Katju, Justice Katju, your comments against Modi are very strong. You are comparing him with Hitler and the situation in Germany in 1933. By all means, as a citizen of India, you are entitled to those views. But as chairman of the Press Council of India, is it appropriate for someone who holds a quasi-judicial position to take such a strong, polarizing position on the Chief Minister of Gujarat? How do you respond to the BJP's charge, sir?
Let me tell you, I am not merely the chairman of Press Council of India. I am also a citizen of this country. And when I wrote that article about Mr. Modi, I did not write it as Chairman Press Council. I wrote it as a citizen of India. And what I said in that article, you may have read.
Yes.
Firstly, the massacre of Muslims in Gujarat in 2002 can never be forgiven or forgotten. To say it is a pratikriya, a reaction, let me tell you, those
Justice
59
Katju,
Hindus who were
Justice
killed.
Meenakshi, let him
Katju,
finish,
at the
please.
cost of sounding,
Meenakshi, let him finish.
Allow point by point. One point. He's made one point that he wrote about Muslims. Has he talked about Hindus being killed in the in that particular article? The figure he has given of 2000 is incorrect. Number is 1167. From where does he get his figures? There's a factual error. And when he talks about pratikriya, he forgets to write that the exact sentence was, यहाँ पर क्रिया और प्रतिक्रिया की चेन चल रही है और उसको रोकना हम चाहते हैं. This was the exact line. He again deflects from the point. He's speaking like a Congress spokesperson.
Okay, you made your point. Let Justice Katju respond. Meenakshi, one by one.
Let him say the second point and give me.
Meenakshi, one by one. Otherwise, this will make no sense. You must give Justice Katju the opportunity to make his full argument. Then we will give you an opportunity to counter what he's saying. Justice Katju.
One by one. Let him make every point and I'll answer every
Rahul, I want to say one thing.
Yes, Justice.
Rahul, before we continue, I want to say one thing. When Meenakshi speaks, I will never interrupt as long as she speaks.
I think that's important.
I request her when I speak, as long as I speak, she should not. There should be some discipline in these debates.
I agree with that.
What is this that she?
I
was in the middle of a sentence and she interrupted me.
Yes, Meenakshi, let her finish.
As long as she wants to speak.
Meenakshi, let Justice Katju finish. You made a point.
Sir, allow me one line. When Justice Katju gave his opening address, in that opening address, he brought out 4-5 points. I was able to answer only 1 point. I was cut short. And then again the opportunity to Justice Katju was given to speak and make further points. It is in that context I would request
you made that point.
Justice Katju
you made that point.
And
you made that point.
Then he can make the second
You
point.
made that point, but Justice Katju, your position on Modi, while you concurrently hold the position of Press Council chairperson, as a citizen you can take those comments, you can take that position. But as chairperson of the Press Council, is it appropriate to take such a strong line on Narendra Modi, Justice Katju?
I've just now told you that I am not only chairman of Press Council, I am also a citizen of India. And I have a right to speak as a citizen of India. So I have said that, firstly, the massacre of Muslims in 2002 can never be forgiven or forgotten. What horrible things were done to them. And this talk of development, which Mr. Modi has been talking on, and people are projecting him as a future Prime Minister. See, there is one and only one test of development. And that is whether the standard of living of the masses is rising or not. It is not that you have given concessions to 24 business houses, given them cheap electricity, cheap land and so on. In Gujarat, 48% children are malnourished. This is higher than the national average. And Mr. Modi was confronted with this. He does not deny it. But what he says is that, girls in Gujarat are beauty conscious, they do not drink milk, therefore they are thinking that they will get fat and they are vegetarians, and all this nonsense he said. There's very high infant mortality rate in Gujarat, very high women's maternity death rate in Gujarat. 57% Gujaratis are below the poverty line, particularly in tribal areas. Among scheduled castes, among backward castes, Muslims, etc. This is the real test, and on that test, Mr. Modi completely fails, just because he says he has created a business-friendly atmosphere. Are businessmen the only human beings in this country? Are farmers not human beings? Are workers not human beings? Are employees not human beings? Only businessmen. Businessmen would be 1 or 2% of the population. So he has given some benefit to businessmen. Therefore, there is development. Wonderful argument. I don't regard this as a development at all.
Meenakshi, Justice Katju says he's exercising his right as a citizen to make whatever case he wants against Modi. You can agree with him, disagree with him. He's not just the chairman of the Press Council. He's a citizen of India. That's his argument, Meenakshi.
No, absolutely not. Because as a citizen, he cannot hold the office of Press Council of India. if he's holding the office of Press Council of India, and I've read his article, at the bottom it's written, former Supreme Court judge, present chairperson of Press Council of India. And this is giving dignity to lies. That is exactly what he has done. He's creating myths and participating in propaganda machinery of Congress party. And Press Council of India is actually a body, an institution, which is meant to control this kind of propaganda. The propaganda, the first propaganda he's trying to portray is that this was the first time Muslims have been massacred in this country, which is again a falsity. And only Muslims have been massacred, again a falsity. 30% of dead were Hindus, and that I'm excluding the figure of 58 people who died, who were burnt to death by Godhra incident. And against that Godhra incident, he again perpetuates a myth by saying whether this incident happened or not, or did not happen in this fashion, is probably something which he's not aware of. For his information, I want to inform him that there is a judge who has passed orders, and under the judicial system of which he was a part of, and under that judgment, a few people who are Congress leaders have been indicted and have been sentenced even to death, and also life imprisonment has been given, and those were Congress members who engaged themselves in Godhra incident. That's number one. Number two, not Muslims alone, but Hindus also died. In a state where Muslim population is only 9%, the death of 30% Hindus, I would request him to address that issue as well. Wrong happened on both sides. 2002 was a horrible time. That was a time when military and other forces were busy. The military was called in.
Okay,
other
you
states,
made the
which
argument.
were 3 states. One is, no, I have not finished. I'm sorry, Rahul, I have not finished. You have not given me adequate opportunity of handling this particular issue. There are 3 states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Maharashtra. All 3 states were ruled by Congress at that point in time. To all 3 states, government of Gujarat had requested to send reinforcement, which failed. And this was a Congress's ploy. And unfortunately, even people like Justice Katju fall prey to such propaganda. Number one. Number two, when he writes a figure of 2000 is an absolutely absurd and incorrect figure.
Okay, you made that point.
The figure is 1,167.
Okay, you made both points. You made both
Number
points.
three, when he repeatedly mentions that Muslim massacre, he's making false statements.
Okay.
Because Hashimpura, so many rights, all rights in this country.
Okay,
have
Meenakshi,
happened
I think you've
under
completed your
Congress
argument.
regime.
Okay, you've completed your argument. You've
Assam
completed.
rights, which have happened recently. I have to come back to malnutrition part. I can come back again.
Okay.
If you
Justice
tell
Katju,
me to continue, I'll continue.
Justice Katju, as someone who's held the post of a Supreme Court judge, you know better than anyone else that judges don't reach conclusions till the time the judiciary has concluded a verdict in a case. So far, none of the charges against Narendra Modi have been proven in a court of law. As a former judge, not an activist yourself, do you not think you've jumped the gun by holding Narendra Modi responsible while the courts are still to weigh in with their verdict, sir?
See, it is right, the matter is sub judice, but what I do wish to say is that Mr. Narendra Modi was Chief Minister of Gujarat at that time when on a large scale attacks on Muslims took place. I gave one example in that article I wrote. There was one Mr. Ehsan Jafri, very respected, very senior former member of parliament. He was attacked, he was dragged out from his house, stripped, his limbs chopped off, he was burnt alive. Large number of cases of Muslims being burnt alive, Muslim women's pregnant women's bellies being slit. You can go on YouTube, Gujarat 2002 and see all those. Was it all an illusion? I can understand those 59 Godhra people who were killed. Those who perpetrated that atrocity, those particular persons should be certainly punished, given harsh punishment. But should the entire Muslim community in Gujarat be targeted?
No,
what
but
kind of nonsense is
what
this?
is the evidence so far, Justice Katju, of the direct role of Narendra Modi? Arun Jaitley says you prefer bazaar gossip over judicial verdicts. Shouldn't you wait for a judicial verdict? Give me a moment, Meenakshi. Let Justice Katju respond. I'm coming to you. Justice Katju first.
I have already said that since the matter is sub judice, I'm not, I would not like to say much except that Mr. Narendra Modi was Chief Minister. Was he not Chief Minister? And Ehsan Jafri's house was just 1 kilometer from the police station and less than 2 kilometers from the office of the police commissioner of Ahmedabad. Can it be believed that Mr. Modi did not know what was going on? At least I find it very difficult to believe.
Meenakshi,
These things were happening on a large scale in
Yes.
large scale in Gujarat. If Mr. Modi was unaware of all this, then he's an incompetent chief minister who doesn't know what is going on in his state. And if he knew about it, then he's
Mr.
guilty. So either way, it makes a difference.
Yes, Meenakshi.
Justice Katju, I'll come to Ehsan Jafri, but let me remind you that when Bhagalpur riots happened, Congress government was in power. When Assam riots have happened recently, Congress again is in power. When Andhra riots happened, Congress was in power. And the worst riots which this country has seen, 47, Congress was in power. Until 2002, every year there was riots. And in all those times, before 1995, Congress was in power. That's number one. And 84 riots, which are supposed to be the worst riots this country has seen in modern India, where 3,506 alone got killed. Not a member from any other community got killed. And that happened when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and that happened in Delhi. Now coming to Ehsan Jafri's case specificities, Ehsan Jafri's case was, his house was burnt by a man called May Singh Chaudhary. And May Singh Chaudhary happens to be a Congress corporator. 150 people were saved, though 17 or 18 did get killed in that incident. His wife made a statement in 2002 to the police, and similar statement was made to another judge of the another former judge of the Supreme Court, Nanavati Commission, which was again made by the Supreme Court. And in that commission, she gave a similar statement to what she gave in 2002. In 2006, she changed her statement. This is the truth of Ehsan Jafri's case. And riots happened and wrongs happened on both sides. And this was a Congress versus Congress rivalry, a corporator killing its own MP. And when you say Narendra Modi was not aware, when riots happened, everybody's aware. 70,000 police force was only available to Narendra Modi, and 1 lakh people were sent behind bars and they were arrested.
Okay. Before we take this argument any further, I quickly want to tell our viewers about the exact points that Justice Katju has made in his article against Narendra Modi. So we'll pull these graphics up on our screen right now and take you through the specific arguments that are being made by Justice Katju. His charge number 1 against Narendra Modi is that the truth today is that Muslims in Gujarat are still being terrorized. That's part 1 of the allegation that that Justice Katju has made against Modi. His charge number 2 is that in the whole of India, Muslims are solidly against Narendra Modi. That's charge 2 from this article that's created this big storm. Charge number 3, I certainly do not buy the story that Modi had no hand in the events of 2002. Let's come to the next charge. Charge number 4. Is it conceivable that the Chief Minister did not know what was going on? Those are some of the charges that Justice Katju has leveled. And when you say, Justice Katju, that Muslims across India are solidly against Narendra Modi, I want to talk about the interview we did yesterday with Maulana Mahmood Madni. And I'm told that you called him up this morning as well. But the fact is, in that interview, Maulana Madni, who runs the Jamiyat-e-Ulema-e-Hind, admits that there are Muslims in Gujarat who actually solidly backed Narendra Modi, voted for him in the municipality elections, also voted for him in the assembly elections. So maybe your charge isn't entirely based on facts. At least assembly election data points to the contrary, Justice Katju.
I have spoken to a large number of Muslims from Gujarat. They are solidly against Modi, but they are so terrorized. They feel that if they speak out, they may be again attacked, and a horrible thing may be done again to them. As regard Maulana Madani's statement, I am sorry that Mr. Madani has made this statement. For whatever reason, it is best known to himself. But it is a factually incorrect statement.
No, you're saying it's a factually incorrect statement, but you're speaking on behalf of the Muslim community. Whereas people on the ground, for example, in the municipality elections, even seats where there were 90% Muslim population, even on those seats, the BJP won in Gujarat, sir. Facts are contrary to what you're suggesting.
I don't want to comment how some elections are held in this country. Please don't go by that.
So what do you go by?
I will not
In a
say anything further.
democracy, if you don't go by elections,
You're
what
speaking on
else will
behalf
you
of
go by?
Congress.
What else can you go by, Justice Katju?
All right, let me answer. Let me answer.
Yes, please.
See, will you or will you not agree that unfortunately in this country 90% people vote on the basis of caste and religion? Is it not a fact? What else are vote banks? 10% may vote on merit of a candidate, 90% go by his caste and religion. It's very unfortunate, very sad, but this is the truth. And unfortunately, it's very sad, but in Gujarat, the communal divide is still very strong.
But recent assembly elections in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh would suggest that people have gone beyond religion, gone beyond caste, which is why Nitish Kumar won with the majority he did, which is why Akhilesh won with the majority he did. That wasn't just a caste and religion vote, it went beyond, also based on the appeal of the candidate. The same can be said about Narendra Modi in Gujarat. Justice Katju?
About Nitish Kumar and Akhilesh Yadav, the reason for winning was that the caste combination changed. And about Gujarat, as I said, there is still tremendous communal divide. And, you know, it's very easy to show, oh, there are so many Muslims have won. There are various ways of doing it. It's not necessary to comment. The truth is, I've met a large number of Gujarati Muslims, and they said we are terrorized, we dare not speak, because they may be attacked again.
Okay,
as they were
Meenakshi wants to respond to what Justice Katju is saying. Meenakshi.
62 corporators are Muslims and are on BJP ticket, and they have won elections. And apart from them, 32% of Muslims have voted for Mr. Narendra Modi in the last election, and I'm not counting the figures of recent election. And when Mr. Katju says that Muslims are terrorized, I think this is more of a fiction than fact, because fact speaks contrary to it. And when he talks about vote bank politics, I'm sure his experience with Congress is what is making him speak this language, because they believe in vote bank politics, and so far as BJP is concerned, it has cut into the Muslim vote bank, which so far had been kept by the Congressis, in at least in Gujarat.
Justice Katju, one of the other critical charges that's been leveled against you, and I want to go back to my desk, is when Arun Jaitley says that Justice Katju opposes what Narendra Modi is doing, but nowhere does he say that he prefers meritocracy to dynasty. He is basically making the charge that because the Congress is a party based on dynasty, Justice Katju will never attack the Congress for preferring dynasty over meritocracy. Where do you stand on this charge, Justice Katju?
Let me tell you, I have never criticized senior leaders of either Congress or of BJP. I have never criticized Mr. Advani. I have never criticized Mrs. Sushma Swaraj. I had not even criticized Mr. Arun Jaitley until he wrote that article against me. So I have also not criticized senior leaders of Congress. I have not done that. So it is not that I have criticized BJP leaders but not criticized Congress leaders. I have not criticized senior leaders. Have you ever heard any statement?
No, but Justice Katju, are you prepared to say that you prefer meritocracy to a dynasty? Why is there hesitance to say that? Isn't that a fact that you would prefer meritocracy to dynasty? Why don't you just come out and say it, sir?
Listen, I have told you already, and I'm not going to keep on repeating it, that I will not speak again, because there are allegations against Congress, dynasty politics, there are allegations against BJP leaders. I do not go into it. I do not wish to go into it. I will not. But what I am feeling very hurt, Mr. Jaitley said that I was given a post-retirement appointment after I retired as a Supreme Court judge, and therefore I am speaking for the Congress. Now let me tell you, when NDA was in power and Arun Jaitley was law minister, there were dozens and dozens of appointments of retired judges to various posts, and let me give you 3 examples. There was one, Justice Anshuman Singh of Allahabad High Court. He was transferred to Rajasthan High Court. I do not wish to tell you the grounds on which he was transferred. Mr. Arun Jaitley knows it. After his retirement, he was made governor first of Gujarat, then of Rajasthan by the India government, of which Arun Jaitley was law minister. Was it not a post-retirement appointment? Then Justice Kokje, he was a judge of Madhya Pradesh High Court, transferred to Rajasthan High Court for reasons I will not tell you. He was after retirement made governor of Himachal Pradesh. Justice Rama Joyce, after retirement made governor of Bihar, and on BJP ticket he is member of Rajya Sabha. Was that not a post-retirement appointment? And so far as chairman of press council is concerned, by convention this post has always gone to a retired Supreme Court judge. There are so many appointments given to retired judges. Justice J.S. Verma, Justice K.G. Balakrishnan were appointed chairman National Human Rights Commission. Very recently, Justice Sutan Kumar, who has very recently retired, was appointed chairman of Green Tribunal. Justice D.K. Jain, who has very recently retired from the Supreme Court, was appointed chairman of the Law Commission. There are hundreds of appointments. And when NDA government was making these appointments, why did Mr. Arun Jaitley not protest? He should have resigned. He said he should have resigned from BJP, saying that I am against post-retirement
That's
appointment.
a different argument.
No, 1 minute, let me complete.
So the question that I had...
Just one second.
Yes, Justice. No, because Justice...
See,
yes.
Mr. Arun Jaitley has been repeatedly saying that post-retirement appointments should not be given to judges. Why did he not just raise this objection when his government was making these post-retirement appointments and he was law minister? He should have resigned from BJP, saying that I am against post-retirement appointments of judges, so I am leaving BJP. It is a party which does wrong things. But then he did not say anything. He was remaining very silent. Conveniently, he was very silent.
Justice Katju,
his government made so many appointments. I don't want to even mention what kind of appointment he made.
Justice Katju, with respect, I would like to submit...
Actually, I want to correct him.
No, just 1 second, Meenakshi. Justice Katju, with respect, I would like to submit that you deflected the argument. You took a very strong line on Narendra Modi, but you weren't prepared to utter a word against dynasty politics. That brings me to the principal charge that Arun Jaitley is leveling, that you're very quick to assume a strong position on Modi, but you're not prepared to say anything at all on dynasty politics. And I'm not just saying dynasty politics in the context of the Congress party, dynasty politics as a principle in comparison with the principle of meritocracy. Don't you have a stand on that, sir?
I am replying to you. If you have the patience to hear my answer.
Yes, Justice Katju.
See, the allegation of dynasty politics is against Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi, isn't it?
Yes.
Now they are senior leaders of Congress. I have told you I do not comment on senior leaders of these national parties. I have not criticized Mr. Advani or Mrs. Sushma Swaraj or even Arun Jaitley until he wrote this article. So, because Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi are senior leaders of the Congress, I don't speak about them. I don't
but Justice Katju, by what yardstick, Justice Katju, do you think Rahul Gandhi is the senior leader of the Congress party, but you don't extend that same to Narendra Modi, who's been 3-time Chief Minister of Gujarat? He's been popularly elected by his state. Rahul Gandhi, in comparison, has much lesser experience, is younger in age, and has no administrative expertise either. So how is it that Rahul is a senior leader of the Congress, but Narendra Modi is not considered by you to be a senior leader of the BJP, sir?
So far as Narendra Modi is concerned, what was sought to be projected in recent times, that he is the best Prime Minister of this country and great development is taking place. Once he is the modern Moses, who is a Messiah who will lead this country into a land of milk and honey. India will become prosperous, development, vikas. All this nonsense was being spoken. So I had to just correct the perspective. I had to clarify what is the meaning of development. That is why I wrote that development means raising the standard of living of the masses. And under Mr. Narendra Modi's government, the people of Gujarat are having very high malnutrition, abnormally high malnutrition, environmental degradation, lack of education. In many areas, there's no water which is coming. Mr. Akhilesh Pratap Singh said he went to Gujarat. He gave the statement. There's no water for several days. See, this talk of giving concession to business houses, कि आपने बड़े बड़े औद्योगिक घरानों को आपने कंसेशन दे दिए, जमीन दे दी और इनवाइट कर दिया फॉरेन कंट्रीज को. दिस इज नॉट डेवलपमेंट. Development is what is happening to 90% of the people. Is their standard of living rising or not? This is the test, not that
You made your point.
benefits to
Meenakshi is
business
smiling.
houses.
She wants to
Yes.
come in and respond. Meenakshi.
Meenakshi has a very
You
good
see,
smile,
on
by
the
the way.
issue of thank you very much, sir. I've always got favorable orders from you, and I expect today also. On malnutrition, I'm just reading out 2 paragraphs. And one, this is regarding statistics. Kerala is worse than Senegal. But the nutrition statistics say that Kerala has 25% stunted children compared to 20% of Senegal, 23% underweight children relative to 4.5% of the latter. In Punjab, which has a life expectancy of 70 years and is the breadbasket and milk dairy of India, 37% of children are stunted, 25% are underweight. To make sense of this nonsense, we must look at how stunting underweight rates are calculated. Now, there is a problem where genetic attitudes of genetic makeup of a particular community is not even taken on record. Malnutrition is a completely different subject where people low on protein, people low on calories could be for various lifestyle issues. It's got nothing to do with money. And when he's talking about the water not reaching, then let me clarify that Narmada water overflow, which is overflowing into the sea, Gujarat government repeatedly asked the center that allow us to build the gates so that we can store the water which is unnecessarily getting wasted. It's the central government which has not permitted that.
Okay.
And the matter
Okay. I'm also out of time on this show. Yes, I want quick final comments from Justice Katju and from Meenakshi.
There are factual incorrections. Who do I go to if the Press Council of India chairperson is going to have a biased opinion? Who do I go to make such complaints? If some other journalist is making these mistakes, it's understandable.
Okay.
And I can approach the Press Council of India. But if Press Council of India chairman is going to make similar biases, indulge in similar things, where do I go?
Justice Katju,
in that context, if he's got opinion, he keeps his opinion to himself, but not as a Press Council of India chairperson.
Justice Katju, at a time when the
Congress
principal opposition party of this country has made it clear that they've lost their faith in you, as a man who's supposed to, not take sides one way or the other, do you think it's now untenable for you to continue as Press Council of India chairperson, or will you bash on regardless?
I'm not bothered about these criticisms. All this nonsense people may talk. Do you think I'm bothered about it at all? Let Mr. Arun Jaitley and Mr. Rudy and Mr. Yashwant Sinha say whatever they like. I don't care for all these statements. Then let them resign. Why should I resign? And all this, you see, I have already told you that I have criticized Congress governments also in Maharashtra, in Delhi, in Himachal, elsewhere. And regarding Bihar, it was said by Mr. Jaitley that I gave the report about Bihar, suppression of press freedom in Bihar. It was not my report at all. It was the report of the 3-member committee which I appointed. They toured Bihar for 1 year and then gave the report. It's not my report at all, and yet Mr. Jaitley says I have given a report against them.
Quoting Ravi Ranjan.
I'm now out of time. Meenakshi, quick
Ranjan.
final points. Justice Katju refusing to resign. So will the BJP cooperate with the Press Council chairperson, or will you now boycott him?
I don't know on that issue. What are we going to do? Because that will be a strategy which the party heads have to decide, and we'll take a call. But so far as factual errors are concerned, I have a 2 points I want to make. One is that Digvijay Singh bet up a journalist in press conference of Mr. P. Chidambaram. No action taken against him. And I would request a person like Mr. Katju to speak against Digvijay Singh, who's joined hands with him today. The other person, Kutubuddin Ansari, is a man whose pictures, without his consent, are being used in all newspapers, all channels, and some of the NGOs as a riot victim and as a basket of riots in Gujarat, whereas this person was in fact saved by the police. And he's thanking the police when this particular picture is clicked, and this picture is misrepresenting the facts which are truly on the ground. And the fact that Muslims are walking hand in hand in Gujarat is something which I think, and even on Akbar, Justice Katju has made a wrong statement, and I would request him to read Rutherford Vincent Smith and several other books where they talked about how bad Akbar's regime was, that Hindus had to wear a patch on their shoulder and they were supposed to be given an extra severe treatment in the polity.
Justice Katju has his hand up, but I'm also out of time, sir. Very respectfully, quickly make your brief final comment,
that BJP may boycott me, but I hope Meenakshi does not boycott me because I like her smile.
All right, you've heard from Justice Katju.
I'll come and fight with you.
He's on fire and brimstone. I'm glad towards the end we managed to get the both of them to smile. Justice Markandey Katju, Meenakshi Lekhi, for joining us on the center stage face-off this evening. Thank you very much. We don't want to weigh in one way or the other. You must decide who's right, who's wrong in this battle between the Press Council chairperson and the BJP.